Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
Marketing on a shoestrings budget. Now, I've got a question for you. Are you looking to grow your business so that it becomes profitable and enjoyable? Or are you looking for ways to find clients without maybe investing thousands into your business, or maybe hire a coach or things of that nature? And also, do you also want to make connections with other entrepreneurs in the same boat as you? Well, if that's what you're after, I encourage you to listen right up until the end of this podcast so you can hear about our community where you can find people to collaborate with, grow your audience with people that are in the same direction as you, and create a strong supporting system, all whilst maintaining a shoestrings budget. But in the meantime, we're going to be talking about how you can market without a budget, or market with a shoestring budget. Now, I want to mention this up front. Yes, obviously, I'm a successful businessman now. I've got a thriving enterprise. I just came off a holiday with my kids, 14 days. I was out. I think I only touched my phone 4 times during all that time. I'm no longer tethered to my phone to find out if people are clicking links to my website or things of that nature. I mean, obviously, if you're getting started, things like that are very important to you. But if you've created a system and a process where your team can actually look after your business while you're out there, you, my friend, have created a business that's actually profitable, and you can actually enjoy working in it. So if you're passionate about doing work that you were meant to be doing and living an inspired life while you're doing it, you've come to the right place, my friend. This is the Online Prosperity Experience, where my mission is to help coaches and consultants like you that are inspired to build a brand that they're proud of and create a lifestyle that they absolutely love. Now, wouldn't that be nice? And just to top it off, today we're going to be talking about how when you don't have any money, it doesn't mean you can't go out there and market your business up until you are in a strategic position to actually maybe afford some of the more expensive marketing endeavors that other people in your niche are doing. And in actual essence, if you do your marketing right, you will actually be able to reduce your marketing spend to $0. And I'll be able to show you how maybe throughout this podcast. And also, if you want to just jump, to the end of this podcast, see how you can join our community, or schedule a call with me so we can do what we call a total online presence audit. That way you would know where you're actually hitting the mark and where you are just spraying and praying with your marketing. Okay. Now, I want you to believe me when I say I get it. All right. When you're running a business, maybe especially when you're starting a new one, you don't always have a lot of money to put towards your marketing. And, that you need to be doing, something to get your business out there and attract those clients, that would then eventually turn into paying customers. But sometimes you wouldn't know where to start. And thankfully, there's a lot of amazing ways if you're willing to do the work and put grease on your elbows so you can literally hit the pavement and make an impact and actually grow your brand in the process without costing you a fortune, all on a shoestring budget, and while you're actually enjoying the business that you're creating. And if anything at all, I've got a few favorites of my own, but You might be thinking, who am I to be, documenting all of this? Who am I to be talking about how to market on a shoestring budget? I've got a lot of experience with shoestrings, my friend. I'll tell you one thing for sure. When I was growing up, I used to hang out, at a backpackers in Victoria Falls called Shoestrings Bazaar or Shoestrings Lodge. So shout out to my homies in Victoria Falls that are still at Shoestrings, and those that came out of the struggle with me that are now listening to this podcast as well. Shoestrings made us, okay? But I didn't quite know what that was all about. And, I'll just jump into why that is for me, because the reason why I'm really passionate about helping coaches and consultants and also small business owners to grow their business is because I know what it's like to come from nothing. You see, I was born in a small town in Zimbabwe, in Africa. I don't know if you know where that is, okay? It's a southern, country right at the bottom of the continent where we've had the toughest inflation, ever recorded in history. Things were not just looking up there. So for me, growing up, life was pretty tough, even though I was brought up, with well-to-do parents that were really helping, with my confidence and everything else, and even sending me to really good schools, hence my English. Things were pretty tough for them as well, and I could see it that they were really trying to provide for us, but they were also trying to make ends meet. So we didn't have a lot of money at our disposal. Or one other thing that was not present in our growth was hope that would actually amount to anything. The reason why this was there were no jobs that were being created by the economy at that moment. There was no hope that if you do get into that job, the prospects of you actually being promoted were zero to minimum if you were not, in the right bloodline, or you were actually not connected to the people that were in the rightful positions, because the president that we had at that time had been a president for over 30 years. And so he had created a culture where he does not, give way to younger minds that were up and coming, to run the country and do things, in a more modern fashion. So that culture spilled onto the corporate world. So CEOs and managers were not yielding to younger minds, or retiring. They would hold on to that job up until they eventually die. So we didn't literally have anyone to look up to, because all the people that were sort of like a generation older than us were just leaving the country, going overseas. So we didn't see their progress. We didn't even see what was happening to them. So we literally did not have any role models, because we started hating all those older people that were just holding on to, whatever resources that they had. And obviously, during that time, corruption was really rampant, you know what I mean? So we had not a lot of people that could inspire us to expand our horizons. But my life completely changed when a bright-eyed Australian teacher came to work at the school that I was at. So I was about 13 years old, and when she came around, she literally showed us that you can be, do, and have a happier existence no matter who you are, where you are, or what you gonna be doing. And that just gave me a bit of hope, because she actually told me that all about Australia and all the places she's been to and all the incredible opportunities that it actually had to offer. And she taught me that there was a whole another world outside of my small little town that I was brought up in, and there's a whole world of infinite possibilities, where if people who really dream big and had the courage to follow their dreams, guess what? The world was their oyster. So for the rest of my time in school, I worked my butt off to learn as much as I could. And a few years later, I ended up in Australia. So when I came here, I knew no one, you know what I mean? It was very tough. And I was so far away from family and friends, and I even struggled to find regular work. You know why? Because I didn't have the skills and the actual education that was needed for me to have or maintain a steady job. And I literally got evicted from one of my apartments in Richmond because I just couldn't afford to pay, rent. That happens. So that's the reason why I know what it's like to come from the bottom, but, all the while, I didn't stop to wait for, a handout or anything else. I just knew I would succeed. And what I did was roll up my sleeves, and I took the opportunity when it presented to myself up until a big break came. It was a chance modeling gig that was set up by one of the roommates that I was now living with, and I was signed up by a modeling company. And then from then on, I just started doing jobs within the marketing space up until I found my own stride. And then I started Live Long Digital, which is now the company that brings you this podcast, by the way. And before I knew it, I was now brushing shoulders with A-listers, in my modeling days. And through that, I actually used that networking to connect with businesses that actually needed marketing and, models that also wanted to increase their online presence. And then the rest is history. Now we work with over 450 different companies, and we're actually working with small to medium businesses, especially coaches and consultants like yourself, to take them from $200K to $2 million in valuation, which is essentially 10xing your business. So there you have it. I get it when I know that, yes, marketing is an expensive part of running your business and the like, but you can also do it on a shoestring budget. And there's amazing ways that if you really just apply yourself, you will be able to create for and relate to the audience that is going to be paying for the lifestyle that you choose. One thing that a lot of people would find easy, especially when it comes to marketing, is social media. Even though I'm not personally on social media myself, for private reasons, but also with the things that have been happening in the economy, social media just sort of stopped having its luster. So I sort of pulled myself off so that I could concentrate on, parts of my business that actually were profitable, right? But I know if you're starting out, or if you keen to really just put yourself out there, social media will be a best place to start off. And I know it seems obvious, and it kind of is. If you do business and maybe have no social media presence, you're already losing out. So the key here is to pick out the right platforms. And remember, you don't need to be on every one of them. You could see other people doing well on TikTok or on YouTube or on LinkedIn, Instagram, or things of that nature. You don't necessarily have to spread yourself too thin. All right, my top tip here is to just focus on one or two platforms and do them really well. Okay, so the one thing that you need to realize is when you have identified your target market and you've sort of gotten a stride of what your message is going to be, determine what is the best media to disseminate that message. All right, and then you want to focus on that. If you're good at video, all right, you want to start, doing a lot more video, and then use YouTube as your main protocol. The reason why you want to use YouTube as your main protocol is because it's the second biggest search engine, after Google. So you are already, way ahead of other people that are not even trying to get found out there. And it's cheap for you to upload your videos on there. And sometimes if you've got really good videos and they've got really good, viewership, YouTube can actually pay you to create your content in the form of, the fees that they pay, to put ads on your video. So you want to choose and decide how you want to put your message out there, and you can actually be paid, which will now offset maybe some of your marketing and some of your creation costs that might come in, in the result of you creating those videos. All right. So once you're on there, just choose two platforms at least, maybe it might be YouTube and Facebook, ones that, support your strongest output. If you're good at writing, you want to choose platforms that support a lot more writing. If you're good at speaking like I am, I chose podcasting and a little bit of YouTubing, where I would then, put on a little bit of, this content so that it goes out. And then I also use a bit of email marketing and blogging to just reach out to my audience. So find out what your strongest point is and just concentrate on that. What comes naturally to you? Like right now, the reason why I'm actually speaking about a shoestring budget is, it's the start of the year. I don't usually put dates to my podcast, but hey, here you go. It's the start of the year, and by the time I'm recording this podcast, and a lot of people are sort of coming to me saying, what's the cheapest, fastest, better way to market our business, on a shoestring budget? The last couple of years have not been, favorable to us. And then I'm just like, hey, wait a minute, why don't I just, give a few of my top tips as to how, this can be done. And there you got it. We already created a podcast. So you want to focus on what you're really good at. And, I wouldn't know how successful I would have been had podcasting not been created, because each podcast now comes through an email, and then we also repurpose this podcast into a blog post and some social media posts out there. So you might have seen us from so many different avenues, but all I do every single day is sit in front of my computer and record a podcast. And guess what? You now have all these different pieces of content going out, depending on what platform you listen to us from or things of that nature. And sure enough, social media is just an amplifier of what is already good content. It's not a strategy in and of itself, okay? So my tip here, like I say, is just focus on two platforms and do them really well. And one thing that you want to do, you've heard me say, I do this podcast every single day. Stay consistent. And if you're in a place where other people can engage with you, you also want to engage. You want to post enough value, because we do get paid in direct proportion to the value that we bring to the marketplace. And you want to be active, because out of sight, out of mind. The algorithm is set in such a way that you want to make sure that you're consistently on top of new posts, and you're also engaging with the people that are responding back to you. You're not yet Kim Kardashian, who doesn't respond to people, even though she knows everyone is just going to be following her, So every one of these people that are giving you a bit of love, send that love back, all right? Because unrequited love would mean these people will get bored and then they'll go somewhere else. But if you want to, stay within and be able to create more for them, in order for you to then demand money off of them a little bit later on, you want to be in close proximity to them. That way, you get ideas from what it is that they anticipate from you, and you just go to town and create it for them. All right. And one thing that I advise for you not to do is just don't post and ghost. All right. Once you master, what your people want, engage with them. There's so much learning that happens both ways. You learn what your customers want, and then they learn a lot more from you. It makes your marketing a whole lot cheaper. And once you master the first one or two, you can then think of adding yet another channel, but you're maintaining what you're already having. And then that off spill is now the one that goes to other channels. So you want to get organized, have a strategy, know what you're saying, and when you're saying it, and exactly why people have to pay attention to you, because nobody cares. All right. Why should they care? People are looking for solutions that will actually make them happier, richer, thinner, and better looking than other people. What have you got to bring to the table? Is your health, your wealth, or relationship material helping them achieve their own personal goals? All right. That's how people get followed online. You just don't get followed just because you are there. All right. And one other thing that I encourage you to do also is email marketing. With social media, you don't necessarily own those channels, okay? And if you don't have an email list, it's time to get one, all right? You want to use that traffic that is coming to your social media or to your website and convert them into subscribers. You own that subscription list. Guess what I just did today? I just came into my office and I was like, what can I do? And then I just wrote an email that went to, I think, over 14,000 different people. And I've already started getting responses. People telling me what their goals are for 2023. You know what I mean? I already have work cut out for me for the next month. And people are booking themselves into my calendar. I don't even need to go out and maybe publish myself or do anything. This is now just a courtesy, podcast, because I want to stay consistent. My email marketing is doing doing amazing. I've got over 45% open rates. And if you look at that against benchmarks in our industry, a lot of people opens rates are usually in the 28% mark. So if you don't have an email list, it's time to get one, because when somebody joins your email list, they're hoping to hear from you, and you've probably proven you have got something of value that they want to constantly hear about. So I'd also say that it means that they trust you and the information that you're providing them, so that they can get to the next level of wherever they want to go with their business, with their health, or with their relationships, or whatever it is that you're presenting to them. Okay, so you don't want to abuse that privilege that people have given you, but you also want to make sure that you're constantly giving value throughout the time that people are subscribed to you. Because when you engage and educate people and inspire them to want more, be more, and have more, you position yourself as a go-to person that each and every one of these people will be looking forward to connecting with. And when you provide value into the marketplace, guess what? You now get people that know, like, and trust you. And we all know that people do business with those that they know, like, and trust. So when you've got this email list, you now need to nurture them. You need to love them hard, provide them with so much value that they don't decide to even go anywhere else, and you nudge them towards the next logical option, which is basically maybe working with you, or if they need to buy a product or service that you provide, they know that you are the most logical choice that they need to work with. That right? Some people that I know, in my email list have stayed with me for over 3 years. Some have been with me for 4 years. When you're offering value, when people are learning from you, it becomes an easy, place for them to just gather all the information they want pertaining to your subject without them having to scour through the whole internet, just to find an answer. You now become that answer for them. And for you to supplement, over posting and oversharing on social media, you can actually start running that email marketing so that you can create for and relate to your audience. All right. And maybe you might feel like, I can't just be sending emails to people. Start a blog. All right. Because when you start a blog, you now have an excuse to send an email out to your audience. You'll be like, here, I created something for you. Here, I did something that you might be interested in, for you. So as you would notice, all these seemingly, free strategies actually interconnect. And if you work them together, that's where the magic actually starts happening. It's not a once and done that you create a blog and then everybody's going to be the pathway to, your website or to your doors and things of that nature. You know what I mean? Because I think it was Bill Gates that mentioned that content is king. So content marketing is so incredibly valuable because it's literally good for brand building. All right. It helps to position you, if you've got a really good blog, it will also help you improve SEO. SEO is also a free marketing strategy if done right. Okay. So you can share your blog snippets throughout that social media that we spoke about. You can tease your email list with the blog that you have written and then drive traffic back to your website. All right. So look at the chain and what we're doing. Social media just gets random traffic from the internet, and then you're hoping your email marketing will nurture them. And first of all, subscribe them into customers that pay, stay, and refer. And then you're nurturing them with a blog, just giving them snippets of valuable information along the way. You know what I mean? And, all of these are working together. So your social media channels are bringing in randoms. Email marketing is actually segmenting them into the right kind of people with the right kind of pain. And your blog marketing now becomes the reason why they stay. So you want to share, all this information and make it work synergistically, if that's a word, in synergy, right? That's what I'm trying to say. And don't pull out a dictionary. You might hurt your brain. That synergy that you will create when you have a blog, you've got email marketing going on for you, and you're driving traffic to both your properties, using social media and, the content that is on your blog. All of the other things become easy. Because some people run to do collaborations, but you haven't got any content to then seed whatever audiences you're going to be in front of. You haven't created an email marketing strategy or content that those people that then subscribe to you will feed off of. If you just have social media, if you just have email marketing and you've got a blog, because a blog makes you consistent, all right, whatever 300 words that you write can be turned into a social media post, can be turned into an email. Already, you've got 3 ways that are consistent that you're putting stuff out there. If you can't write, you can do a video. If you can't do a video, you can talk like I'm doing right now. So it's all part of actually creating content, because once you create something, you give a reason for people to want to be a part of what you're doing. All the other things, networking, collaborations, cross promotions, having Google My Business, and even ads. Ads don't work if you don't have proper funnels or proper email marketing system or proper content for when people come to your website, because it's like you invite people to a party. You haven't got food for them. You haven't done a barbecue. You don't even have drinks or music for them to, enjoy. What are they coming to the party for? So your blogs, your email marketing now becomes that entertainment that keeps people longer in your websites, keeps people longer and buying more from you. Now, wouldn't that be nice? And we all talk about maybe, word of mouth. Yes, people are talking about the work that we're doing, but what are you arming them with? Because if you're writing a blog, you're giving them ammunition, a reason to pass on something to their friends, to their family, to colleagues at a barbecue, or even strangers on a bus. Have you ever noticed that when, people are talking about health or wealth or things of that nature, they look up people that they already know or emails that they are receiving? All right. So that's where it all comes in. You now have these people, that are talking about you in your absence. It's that simple. Have a blog, have a consistent email marketing system around that, and make sure you are consistent also with your social media. That way, my friend, you will create marketing on a shoestring budget. The whole other things that you'll be doing out there is just noise, because people are coming to learn from you. Okay? You might have consulting, training, information, or whatever expertise. All of that stuff can be Googled. But your input, your 30 minutes on a podcast like I've just done with you right now, predicated on the fact that, some people are reaching out to me saying, how can I market my business? And then you just think, wait a minute, I can just shoot 500, birds with one stone, But I want you to remember something. You don't have to do it all. And don't let marketing overwhelm you and consume you. Like I said, social media, email marketing, and a blog. How difficult can that be? Your blog keeps you consistent. The email marketing makes sure that you reach many people at different times. Social media just brings the people to you. It's that simple. You are getting people from, their walks of life using social media strategies. You're nurturing them so that they get to know, like, and trust you, using email marketing, and you're just writing a blog to, validate your authority and your value to them. So if you'd like help taking advantage of these shoestring activities, obviously with time you'd have to pay to get quality, but you can start off for free, okay? Which is what I'm offering. You can start off with me for free with a free consultation call, and during that call we'll just work hands-on with you to develop a strategic plan, and then we'll deep dive and work through, first of all, your ideal client clarity. Because if you know who you are going out for, it's easy for you to reach out to them in groups and places on social media, right? And then once we have that client clarity, you've identified your target market, we now look at your strategic messaging. What are you saying to them? And why should they care? And then we look at your consulting or coaching offers and pricing. What are they then supposed to do with the information that you've given them? Okay? And then if your business model does not support you having social media, blogging, or email marketing in place, we will then optimize your business model and then basically help you to set up your marketing engine so that your lead generation system is consistently, there 24/7 to attract the ideal clients that you want to work with. That, my friend, is how you actually start marketing on a shoestring budget. You don't necessarily have to do it all. And you don't want to let marketing overwhelm you or consume you. It should be fun. Like I mentioned, it's just social media, email marketing, and blogging. The rest is just additional. All right? And if you can't measure any of the things that you're doing out there, stop it until you know how to measure it. Because what doesn't get measured doesn't grow. So, if you're speaking on a topic like I am and that you know so much about, it makes it super easy to turn this podcast into a blog post. That blog post becomes a social media post. That social media post can now also be transferred into an email marketing system. How difficult is that? So you can just start by picking, 1 to 2 activities and just get started. And then incorporate something new once you're up and running and you've got the consistency and the groove going, or systems and processes to then outsource that to somebody else to do it for you. I know right now I've actually spoken myself out of a job, and I know that, if you're somebody who's really paying attention, you've just realized, wait a minute, maybe I've been doing it wrong, or you had no clarity of what it actually does. Social media brings all the boys to the yard, right? And then your email marketing becomes the milkshakes. And then your blog post is, I just butchered that song. You know where I'm going with this. So marketing on a budget just allows you to get creative and really think outside the box. Well, you're still inside some sort of a box, but you're now doing more of the right things instead of just spraying and praying with your marketing, or just doing random acts of marketing out there. And it's an opportunity for you to do things differently this year, my friend. And finally, my last tip before I let you go. Whatever you do, don't blend in. Don't blend in. Because the market already is doing, you want to do the opposite of what the market is doing. Just stay true to your brand. Stand out and allow people to see your personality, and it will set you apart. You just listened to my story at the start of this podcast. That is something that you can't get from anybody else. So that's what sets me apart. And the fact that I've been where you are and I've worked, my way up from a shoestring budget. So I know where you're at right now. So if you'd like to discuss how I can help you create a marketing plan, for your business, just get in touch. All right. There's going to be a link with this podcast or with the email that comes with it. Just click one of those links. Let's have a chat. This is how I sound like in person. Energy, loving, and really wanting to help you do and have a business that's profitable and enjoyable. I can't wait to see what you're going to do with this information. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So, look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au